Very warm welcome to all our viewers and welcome to a new episode of Africa Today. Of course, our show bringing you all the latest news and events happening inside the African continent. And of course, we start with news from home, where President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi addressed the Aswan Forum via video conference, and he spoke about the importance of this forum and how it is for sustainable peace and development and an opportunity to boost common efforts and unified visions to confront challenges for facing the African continent. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by His Excellency Ambassador Hussein Hariri, former Assistant Foreign Minister. It's a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good afternoon, madam.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador, for joining us this afternoon. How do you see, sir, the timing of the forum this year, especially given the new challenges that are facing the African continent and the need for African nations to really cooperate together and implement joint initiatives to achieve, aspirations for the African continent?
Well, of course, the forum is a very opportune occasion to debate and discuss, as you have put it, the challenges,
yes.
And they are plenty, facing Africa, be it in the field of the economy, climate change, fighting terrorism, empowering women, job creation. So I guess the challenges facing the African continent as you said, they are many. They cover many fields, and of course, the most important or the most urgent now is, in light of the war going on in Ukraine, is how to assure food security,
yes.
of some African countries and African people. According to the latest UN estimates, almost 100 million people could face starvation or malnutrition if this war, or if we cannot reach regions and population in Africa.
Yes.
The other thing, how to protect African countries from the increase in energy prices, particularly oil. So, of course, the most urgent thing now to debate, to discuss, not only among Africans, but between Africans and other powers, international powers, that they have large investments in Africa. I guess these are the most urgent things to be discussed, and I believe that the forum would be a good venue to exchange views and to look into new approaches to raise awareness in the internationally on the challenges confronting Africa these days.
Yes, indeed, Your Excellency. The President said, sustainable measures are needed to maintain food security, and measures must be taken swiftly amongst African countries. That they need to cooperate to reach this very important, food security issue. And the President also spoke about how the African continent is most affected by issues related to climate change, and, promises to deal with the repercussions of climate change have to be met, especially that Egypt is hosting the COP27 later on this year in November in Sharm el-Sheikh. A very important opportunity for Egypt to be the mouthpiece for African countries with regards to the repercussions of African change on the continent.
Well, of course, the COP27 at the end of this year in Egypt is really an important one, not only from an African point of view, but from the point of view of the international community. Mm-hmm. Lately, we have seen floods, droughts, severe heat waves striking parts of the United States, part of Spain, part of France, and while in the meantime, Australia at the present time is facing cold waves. So the climate change is with us. It poses a grave danger to international peace and security, and to economic prosperity of many regions around the world. And now, of course, the international community is aware of its responsibility to just contain the rise in temperature not to exceed 1.5 Celsius. So in Egypt, at the end of this year, the countries and the non-governmental organizations and the representatives of civil society around the world who would be participating in COP27 would discuss how really to make sure that the objectives agreed upon in COP27, COP26 in Glasgow last year, which was attended, by the way, by President Sisi, are honored. But this COP27 is taking place while many countries, due to the war in Ukraine, are really looking once again or hoping to rely on coal and on oil in order to make up for the loss of Russian gas and oil. Mm-hmm. So COP27 is taking place, and the international community is facing stark choices. And that's why the President of the European Commission yesterday said that the countries, nations around the world should not focus now on traditional sources of energy, but they should really work on renewable energy. Mm-hmm. So let's hope that the COP27 in Egypt next November would be a success in the sense that countries and nations would recommit themselves to objectives, whether objectives of the Paris Accord of December 2015 or to the objectives drawn up in Glasgow last year.
Indeed, absolutely. Mr. Ambassador, another main event and the aim of the Aswan Forum is to, forward effective solutions to the challenges facing the continent and, allow for the cooperation of international partners. How would you describe the role of international partners in aiding Africa to face its developmental challenges, sir?
Well, of course, everyone shows interest in Africa and the future of Africa, security, economy, trade, natural resources, how to provide African countries with enough financial resources to effect the transformation to the green economy. But of course, aspirations are high. Yes. But what we see on the ground does not match these aspirations. And of course, one of the problems, of course, food security of some African societies that could face some of its population could face starvation. So we need to marshal international resources to help African countries. And another problem that we should concentrate on is the high indebtedness. The foreign debts of some African countries are becoming a burden, not only a burden, but a threat to the survival of some African nations. So we need to work. We need to see how the United Nations, how the international financial and economic institutions, great powers that have a stake in the stability and security in Africa, how we can work together to marshal enough resources to protect African countries from worse disasters.
Absolutely. One final item, just I can't let you go without discussing, of course, Mr. Ambassador, today President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi will be holding bilateral talks with the visiting Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Cairo. And of course, the talks are expected to tackle bilateral relations as well as international and regional political issues of mutual concern. How do you see the timing of the visit by the Saudi Crown Prince to Egypt, Mr. Ambassador?
Well, the first point that I would like to underline is that the visit of His Royal Highness Mohammed bin Salman comes in the context of a tour.
Yes.
In the Middle East that would take him to Jordan and,
as well
and to Turkey.
Yes, Turkey.
But of course, as far as timing is concerned, my personal take on it is that I link it to the summit that would is scheduled to take place in Saudi Arabia next month between the Gulf Cooperation Council leaders as well as the leaders of Egypt, Jordan, and Iraq with the American President Joe Biden on July 16th. Of course, those countries participating in the Arab countries participating in the upcoming summit, of course, should have a joint position vis-a-vis the topics that would be discussed in this important and unprecedented summit ever since President Biden became President of the United States.
Yes.
The agenda, at least as drawn up by the Americans, is very ambitious, very large agenda that covers relations between the United States and those countries participating in the summit, as well as other regional and international questions. Among them figure food security, energy crisis, and climate change. So Arab countries, those Arab countries that are invited to the summit should have common positions vis-a-vis these important and urgent questions. And this is as far as the timing of the talks between President al-Sisi and the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia are concerned, Madam.
Indeed. And the cooperation areas that you expect to feature high on the agenda of the visit, as there are some expectations for some agreements as well.
Well, if we are speaking about bilateral relations in the bilateral context between Saudi Arabia and Egypt, I guess we have already signed, almost seven agreements have been signed today to the tune of $7 billion US. So I guess the visit from an economic point of view should be a success.
Absolutely right. Your Excellency, Ambassador Hussein Haridi, the former Assistant to Foreign Minister, I'd like to thank you very, very much, sir, for your time and your insight and for joining us this afternoon on today's edition of Africa Today. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today's episode. My name is Angie Meher. Thank you for watching.